Welcome, Prasad.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you back in Saikong after more than a year, actually.
Yes.
And we're here to talk a little bit about yoga,
Yes.
and about yoga in today's world, where it's changing quite rapidly, actually, compared to what it has been classically,
Yes.
and even perhaps compared to the last, say, in the last 50 years,
Yes.
quite a lot of change.
Yes.
Could you talk a bit from your perspective? How do you see yoga? What is yoga? How would you define it as? What is the heart of yoga, and what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's a very interesting and relevant question. Everybody should ask, every yoga practitioner and teacher should ask nowadays, because as yoga becomes more and more popular, the time has come to define yoga for ourselves, at least, if you're a practitioner or a teacher. Because when something becomes popular, it also becomes very varied. And when something becomes very varied, there's a lot of chance of confusion there.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is happening in the yoga world, that there are different styles of yoga techniques, there are different places, hot, cold, naked, not naked, many types, styles of yoga. So it can be a little overwhelming when you say you're a yoga teacher or want to practice yoga. So it's very important to define it.
Yeah, especially because I was actually make a comment there, because even in all the types that you just mentioned, while they all seem very different, anywhere from yoga with your dog to yoga
Yes.
on a paddle stand-up board,
Yes.
they actually, none of them resemble then the variation. The variation between these types is not at all the same variation that you have in classical yoga between
Yes.
Bhakti yoga, Raja yoga,
Correct.
Jnana yoga. So
Correct. See, basically what I feel is, for me, yoga, the way I look at it, is yoga for me is moksha shastra. Okay? And I'll tell what it is. And traditionally also, yoga has always been looked at as moksha shastra. Moksha means liberation, and shastra means science, or technique, or methodology. Moksha is liberation, but it's not just any mundane liberation. Yeah. It's a liberation from your limited perception and experience of yourself. That's moksha. Moksha is the fundamental liberation from all erroneous perspectives that you may have about yourself. And this has been the traditional basis of yoga. Yoga is moksha shastra. There are other shastras too, like astronomy, astrology, Ayurveda. They're all classically, they come under the shastras. But yoga is the only moksha shastra, because yoga as a science or a field of thought or study promises you liberation. Liberation from what? Nothing external. Liberation from your own erroneous, limiting, false perceptions and experiences of yourself. So I feel somewhere we all need to ask ourselves, okay, I practice yoga, so what is yoga for me? And when everybody's fundamental ground of yoga will become, yes, yoga for all of us is moksha shastra, or a science of fundamental liberation, then there's a beautiful goal. It becomes a journey. It will not become a one-off class then. And this is where I feel that we all need to look at yoga not just as a class, but as a lifelong pursuit of exploring and expanding ourselves.